Right. Thank you, Doc. He is sitting in for the acting vice chancellor because now he doubles as, he's the pro vice chancellor. He doubles as the acting VC. He has asked Dr. Shani Bashiru, Dean Faculty of Business and former HOD of the marketing department, to step in his shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me introduce to you the speaker for today's session. Our speaker is Professor Ebenezer Owusu-Sechere, who is a professional teacher and an associate professor of geography at the University for Development Studies. He's an accomplished academic with a diverse range of experience and expertise in the field of geography, research, higher education management, and curriculum development. With a passion for teaching and research, Professor Owusu-Sechere has made significant contributions to the field over the past 13 years. Prof. Owusu-Sechere currently serves as a member on national committees, including the Teacher Curriculum Technical Team of the National Teaching Council and the National Implementation Support Team of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC. He's professionally affiliated with several national and international associations, including the Ghana Geographical Association, TESOS Ghana, a national environmental think tank, Society of South African Geographers, and the Africa Sustainable Development Network. Our speaker for today's session, Prof. Owusu-Sechere, has authored over 60 peer-reviewed articles in renowned academic journals and several book chapters. He's an international scholar with several international conference presentation experience. He has taught a variety of undergraduate and graduate courses in the field of geography, including urban environmental management, disaster risk management, and climate change, among others. Known for his dynamic teaching style, Professor Owusu-Sechere has mentored and inspired numerous students throughout his academic career, some of whom have become lecturers in some tertiary institutions. He's dedicated to advancing knowledge and believes in the transformative power of education. He's committed to fostering a supportive and inclusive learning environment where students are encouraged to explore. Prof. Owusu-Sechere is a distinguished professor known for his outstanding contributions to research. His dedication to teaching, extensive research accomplishments, and commitment to the academic community makes him an asset to the University for Development Studies and the broader academic world. With this brief intro, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the speaker for today, Professor Owusu-Sechere. Prof, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to our numerous fans via Zoom and all those who are also listening to us. Chairman, I cannot be overwhelmed by the befitting introduction you've given to me. With your permission, can I share the slide that I have to present with the audience?
Yes, Prof. Please go ahead and share.
So if the host can give me the permission to share.
Yeah.
Without the host permission, I cannot share.
Okay, host.
Okay, so it has now been enabled.
Uh-huh.
So thank you so much, and good afternoon to all those who have joined in to share. Now, let me start by saying that I accepted to do this webinar because of the past experiences I've had sitting in hiring people in academia and seeing those people grow. Some grow very well. Some grow, seeing that they've lost hope or their ambitions they couldn't achieve. And so I said, well, let me pick this topic and share with colleagues on how to navigate the academic ladder. And so what I'm going to share are basically things that some we know, but we might have forgotten or we tend to gloss over them, and to see how together we can help shape people in academia and beyond, so that people don't join academia and at the end of the day, they leave frustrated. And so the presentation is going to take this outline. We will look at career goals, we will look at mentorship, we will look at teaching excellence, we will look at conferences and publications. Okay, so my first point is that anybody who enters academia should have a career goal. I mean, beyond the bread and butter issue, we need to aspire to get to a point that we may be happy to call ourselves the good academics that we want to. But to do that, what do you have to do first? First of all, everybody must have a career goal. And I might say that when you take the driver's mate, he has a career goal. And usually when you talk to driver's mate, their career goal is that one day they become master drivers. When you talk to a driver has a career goal. And usually when you talk and so on and so forth. And so when we also enter into academia, usually what are our career goals? How do we define our career goal? All right. And so I start by saying that for you to have a perfect career goal, what you need to do is to do self-assessment. When I say self-assessment, the question I'm asking is that, are you fit for the job? Have you assessed yourself to see that you are fit for academic purpose? Because those outside who have never entered academia think it's an all rosy thing. You just enter academia, you teach, you wait for the end of the month to get your salary and you go away. But when you enter, you realize that it's a different ball game altogether. So I always say that first of all, assess yourself and see whether you are cut for the career in which you have chosen. Having done this, then the next thing you need to do as somebody who wants to make it in the academic environment is to understand the institutional expectations. And Mr. Chair, if you agree with me, if this were to be a face-to-face seminar, and I ask the audience sitting at Accra Technical University, how many of them can tell me the institutional policies of the university? I am sure we may not get up to 80%. And it cuts across all institutions. Many people are in the institutions, but when you ask them the expectations and the policies of the institutions, they are unable to tell you. And so my point is that for you to flourish in the academic environment, you really need to know the institutional policies. For example, how do you qualify for promotion? How do you qualify to be appointed to a position of a unit coordinator, an HOD, or a dean? How do you qualify to be appointed to the position of a pro-vice chancellor, and of course, the ultimate that everybody is yearning for? How do you qualify to be appointed to the position of a vice chancellor? I mean, the universities have a lot of policies that guides us. Yeah. I am sure if we were aware of the policies of the institutions, some may decide not to even come after all. So I am challenging all those online, all those who are listening, all those who are in the academic environment and who aspire to climb the academic ladder, to first of all understand the policies of the institution. Sometimes you may think the policies of the institutions are too broad. How about the faculty? How about the department? How about the other units? Mr. Chairman, sometimes it's interesting that colleagues in the same department do not even know how to just complete a simple form of travel. Yet, you want to make it in the academic environment. And so these are the petty issues that people in academia, those who are up, and particularly those who are aspiring to climb up the ladder, need to know. And I always say that without knowing the rules and regulations, you can't survive. For example, if you're in Ghana and you don't know our rules and regulations, you can't survive. And so everybody in academia listening to me this afternoon, the first point of call, if you haven't done it, it's not late. The rules and regulations are always there. Please go and read, particularly on promotion, particularly on sexual harassment, because these are the policies that are really running universities these days. Now, having identified these policies and doing self-assessment to see that really you are cut for academic work, then, Mr. Chairman, what I always advise people to do is to set for themselves objectives. So, for example, you join the university. What are your objectives? Within the next 5 years, where do you want to be? If the next 5 years you want to be HOD, what are the steps you need to take to become an HOD? And so I tell them to set objectives that are smart. Set objectives that you can really measure the extent of your success, like we do every year in our lives. And like many will bear with me, every 31st December, almost 90% of Ghanaians go to church. What do we go and do? We go and set targets for ourselves. After 30th January, we begin to backtrack on the targets because the targets were not measurable. I mean, like my friend would say, everybody was saying, so we also said some. And so you set for yourself targets that you can measure along the way to see that you are making progress. If you are not making progress, where do you need to retweak to make sure you achieve your target? And also set goals that are attainable and realistic. For example, in this academic environment, one of the critical things that I will talk about in due course is publication. How many papers can you publish within a year, 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years? And the number of papers you are aspiring to publish, is it attainable? Sometimes if you set targets that are unattainable, we say you die before your real death comes. And then you have to align your goals with your personal aspirations and that of the institution. Remember, as individuals in academia, our individual actions collectively go to progress and promote our institutions. And so whatever target that you set for yourself, you must make sure it aligns with your personal goals and aligns with that of your institution. Because for me, Owusu Secretary, when you were introducing me, you started by saying, I work with UDS. And so whatever I do, whatever goals I set for myself, I must know it is in line with the goals of UDS. If I don't do that, UDS can take me to task. So you can be sure what we are doing here, I needed to circulate it to the wider university community for them to know I am representing UDS. Once is one of my goals that I will be presenting from time to time, and which I do. If you check the slide that I'm using on your left, you have UDS logo. It is not just for nothing, but what it tells you is that what I am doing is in line with the hopes and aspirations of my university. And so everybody in career, usually what people do is that when people enter and the funds start coming and small money starts coming, people begin to do things on their own without recourse to what the institution expects them to do. And so young guys in the system, old guys in the system, if we have done and we've forgotten, please let us know that whatever we do must be in line with what our institution expects us to do. And whatever target or goals that you set for yourself should be time-bound. In fact, you can be in the university, for example, and keep on procrastinating that, oh, next year I'll write. Next year I'll write. Next year I'll write. Please, you must set for yourself deadlines. And we all do. When the people of Accra Technical University contacted me, we set for ourselves timelines. In fact, I gave them today and I gave them 2 p.m. because I knew that would be the time that would be good for me. I knew that's the time that I could prepare and come and deliver this lecture. I knew that's the time that it can fit into the things that I'm doing, because right now we are doing a lot of national stuff in terms of curriculum development, in terms of curriculum review, etc., etc. And so you make sure whatever target that you set for yourself, whatever career goals that you set, everybody in career set. If we haven't, we should begin to set goals for ourselves. I'm sure, Mr. Chairman, you may have your own goals that you have set for the rest of the year. You may have your own goals that you have set for the coming year. You may have your own goals that you have set till you leave the system. Please, all of us should begin to set our career goals, or else we may not fit very well into the system. Now, having discussed the issue of career goals, Mr. Chairman, one critical thing that we need to know, and people who want to climb the academic ladder, who want to chart the uncharted waters in academia, is to have strong mentorship and network. Usually, Mr. Chairman, I'm passionate about this side because without mentorship, you go nowhere. Without mentorship, you perish in academia. Without mentorship, you learn next to nothing. Without mentorship, you get lost in your own small institution. Usually, what universities do is that when you are being interviewed for a job opportunity, they look within faculty and begin to assign new lecturers to experienced ones as mentors. If that does not happen, and you find yourself in academia, ladies and gentlemen, please, the first thing we need to do after setting your career goals is to look for a mentor. Please, the first thing to do is to identify who a potential mentor will be. So as a geographer, if you're a geographer and you're in my university, maybe I may be a potential mentor for you. I don't think as a geographer, your potential mentor will be the head of marketing, the head of HR, the head of medical school, the head of pharmacy. You look for a potential mentor in your area. Without a mentor, you will crash. Having identified a potential mentor, Mr. Chairman, what any new academic staff should do is to initiate contact. Please move to your mentor and speak to him. Dr. So-and-so, Professor so-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, I have seen your works. I have read your works. I have followed you on Twitter. I have followed you on LinkedIn. I have followed you on Facebook. I see that the many things that you do are almost similar to the hopes and aspirations that I have. And so I want you to mentor me. Many of the staff in academia, especially senior men, usually don't want to mentor young ones. And there is a reason, which we will go there. The reason is that there isn't clarity of expectations. So for example, if I come to you that I want you to mentor me, what kind of expectations am I coming with? How do I want to be mentored? How do you want to mentor me? These expectations are usually not clarified. And so instead of having a smooth mentor-mentee relationship, it becomes a frosty relationship. And so when you identify the mentor, please let the mentor know your expectations. The mentor will also tell you, the mentee, his expectations. And so once you agree on a common ground in terms of expectations, it is easy to work with a mentor. As a mentee, again, you need to learn continuously. For example, those of us who have risen through the ranks to become an associate professor now, we all entered the university as masters, became PhD holders, called doctors, were lecturers, then became senior lecturers. Now you've risen to the rank of associate professor. It means such a person hasn't gotten a lot of time at his disposal. It means such a person cannot sit you down and be teaching you ABCD like you do. And therefore, what as a new person in academic, what as somebody in academic who wants to climb the ladder ought to do is to learn continuously, because every day comes with new things. Every day comes with things that are beyond the things that you know. In fact, every day comes with innovations. We shall get to innovations in teaching and learning in the university. And so if you don't learn continuously, you realize that you begin to write the old stuff that you have. You realize that you begin to use the old pedagogies that you know to teach. You realize that you are not moving with moving times. Then, to have a good mentor-mentee relationship, what people in academia, particularly those who want to climb the ladder, is to show appreciation and gratitude. Sometimes it's so heartbreaking that a mentor does everything for a mentee, and the moment the mentee begins to find his levels, the mentor becomes an enemy. It happens, continues to happen, and it will happen. And once it happens like that, it doesn't help the smooth running of a faculty, of a department, or of a university, because in the university, the HOD can rise to the VC, tomorrow he comes back to the department and he's teaching. But if you don't show that gratitude, in politics, they call it the godfatherism. If you don't show that gratitude to your godfather or to your mentor, I mean, those of us in academia, all you want to know, you want to hear is that your mentee is saying good things about you. If you don't say good things about your mentor, if you don't show gratitude, not gratitude in terms of financial rewards or material rewards, for him to appreciate that what he did for you, you really like it, you really appreciate it, it's just enough. Many mentees, and I repeat, many mentees have not shown gratitude to their mentors, and therefore the issue of mentor-mentee relationship is not really moving on in the university as it's supposed to be. So you realize that people that universities have recruited for 5 years, 6 years are still even struggling to find their feet. They are struggling to get how to even fill leave form because nobody is telling them this is where you go. They are struggling to get a paper published in a reputable journal. And so I've just mentioned that to survive in the academic environment and to climb the ladder, first of all, set goals. After you've set your goals, then you need to find a very good mentor because the mentor will also link you to his network. Honestly speaking, if you have a good mentor, remember that your network base is expanding, it's widening, and only God knows what network can do for you. In this world of academia, in the world of science and innovation, in the world of education and the world of pedagogy, without networking, my brother, my sisters, you will get missing. And so all of us, if we haven't, we need. Even we as professors still need mentors because people taught us to to get where we are today. And so we need to continuously show gratitude. In the university, Mr. Chairman, we do 3 things. We teach, we research, and we do community practice. In fact, it is these 3 things that will make us who we are as people in academia. It is these 3 things that make us relevant. There isn't any university lecturer who will not teach. If you are not teaching, then you become a research fellow. Even a research fellow, when you do the research, you must still share your findings with people. And in the university now, many research fellows are attached to departments so that they can teach. It is not just teaching. If you go across most universities, the only thing we do is to lecture. And so the best lecturer is the one who is able to articulate good English, who rattles brrr, who quotes from archaeology to zoology for students to clap. He becomes a good lecturer. People enter the university and all they do is to also mimic. But to survive in the university environment as a good teacher, and all of us are teachers, that's why we are called University Teachers Association of Ghana. For you to be a very good teacher, you must teach as a modern lecturer. Not just going to the classroom, rattling, lecturing, giving jargons, giving just stories, and you go. The first thing you need to do is to be innovative. Use innovative pedagogies. When I say innovative pedagogies, sorry, I'm a teacher, so sorry for using some of the typical teaching words. Innovative pedagogies is innovative methodologies of teaching. So pedagogy, we are just talking about methodology of teaching. But you know, pedagogy goes beyond just methodology to include the classroom environment as well as the school community environment because they all affect the teaching. Please, you can use method like flipped classroom. A flipped classroom is a simple method. All you do is that if you have, give the notes, the references, the literature to the students ahead of time. So this webinar, for example, if I had known the audience before this webinar, I would just share. So what I'm doing is that, Mr. Chairman, I've put all this together as a reading material. I think it's about 10 page or 12 page. I will share with the organizers and they can share with the people of the university. So all you do is that you share the information with the audience ahead of time for them to read, for them to research, for them to peruse, So when it's time for the lecture, that's not the time you are going to teach them. They have already read. So the areas that they don't understand, when they come, you all share and discuss. Usually what you do is that in a class, just have a classroom WhatsApp page. These days, WhatsApp is simple. Just have a classroom WhatsApp page and tell them next week, we are going to do climbing the academic ladder. These are the things that we will discuss, and share your notes with them and let them go and read and come back. I tell you, by the time they come back, they can even read, punch holes, give you areas of improvement, and together it helps teaching. These days, we have stopped just dictating notes for students to write. Make them an active part of the learning process. Put them in groups. I mean, no matter how large the class is, just put them in groups. 9, 11, usually it's good to do odd numbers. 9, 11, 7, 13, etc. And make sure, because of these days, how gender sensitive teaching and learning has become, make sure the groups are made up of both male and female, or put differently, both boys and girls, so that they can share. Give them the activity for them to take part. Let them come and present what they have found in their group. By so doing, you enhance teaching and learning in the university, and you'll be amazed the number of things they can learn. If you wouldn't mind, you can do what we call PBL. That's the problem-based learning. Let the learning be in the form of a problem, solving the problem, organizing data, researching into it, come and present. For example, if I take Accra Technical University, you can, if you have a geography department or environmental science department or a human development department, you can just task 5 or 4 students that they should go and stand at the unauthorized places that the cars have been parking. They should ask the drivers why they park there when there is a place allotted for parking. Now, when they come back to the classroom, they should be sharing with us the experience of the drivers and how that problem can be solved. When you do that, look, you don't need notes, plenty notes to give to students. These days, you can do what we call multimodal learning. This is just infusing a lot of strategies. So here, you can add videos. You can have still pictures. So for example, this thing that we are doing, I could have pre-recorded it. If not that it's a webinar and the technology will not allow us, everything that I'm saying, I'll just show a picture. So when I say multimodal learning, I'll just show a picture of a classroom of a teacher using laptop, using a projector, using flip chart, asking students to participate, so that you realize that at the end of the day, it's an all-encompassing strategy. When you do this, learning becomes easy, and students will like you, and you can really move up the academic ladder. You know, in the university, and all of us are in the university, when students like you, you are always happy to go for lecture. When you teach and students are happy, even when there is no time for lecture, you'll be asking, is there any free period? Can I come so that we continue? You are eager to go because students like you. And all of us know that lecturers who don't deliver very well, lecturers who are not innovative in their teaching methods, lecturers who don't use variety of teaching and learning practices, lecturers who don't use a variety of teaching and learning resources, even when it is not time, students are clapping that, oh, sir, it is time, leave us. If you're a lecturer and students begin to demonstrate, not demonstrate in terms of Occupy Jubilee House or Occupy Bank of Ghana, please, that's not what I'm talking about. Demonstrate means to show. If students begin to show that it's time, when really you know it is not time, it means they want you to go. What it means is that what you are teaching them, either they are not understanding your concept or they are not enjoying the class. Or if you are lecturing and you see students wanting to put their heads on the table, that's where everybody can sit down. If you are teaching, let me just, Mr. Chairman, share a trick in teaching with you. If you are teaching, you enter a lecture hall and you see that about 50% of the class want to stand at the back, and there is a door at the back, it means they are looking for the next opportunity to leave the class without your notice. If you start a lecture and the students are about 120, and by the time you finish the lecture, they are about 80 or 70, it means that they didn't enjoy your lecture. But if you enter the lecture hall and the students are 50, and by the time you finish, they are 70 or 80, it means their friends WhatsApp them. That lecture is interesting. Please come. And how will lecture be interesting? Lecture will be interesting when we do collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is that it's more or less just like active, but let everybody take part. Put them in groups. Let them collaborate within the groups. Let them think. Let them pair. Let them share their ideas before they present. Why don't you even call the group leader to come in front of the whiteboard, if that is what is there, using the projector, if that's what is there, if it is the old blackboard or chalkboard, that's what is there. Why don't you call the leader to come and share what the group has thought to be the right thing? After that, why don't you allow every group to critique what the other group has done and to come out with the best way possible? The truth of the matter is that if you do this, you will be happy in the academic environment. And once you are happy teaching, you always want to be teaching more. You always want to be looking for new ways of teaching because students like your lecture. And once students like your lecture and they assess you well, your university begins to recognize your output. And once your university recognizes your output, it means your path of growth has really started. It means your path of climbing the academic ladder has really started. It means the uncharted waters, the areas that people are afraid to venture, it means you are starting to venture into that places. But, Mr. Chair, in this modern era of teaching and learning, in this modern era of our university technology, and these days, anytime we say lecturers, integrate technology into your teaching and learning, the only thing people talk about is laptop, projector, and then they project on the screen. My friends, all of us are in academia. One of the best ways to integrate technology is that, first of all, find out the technology available. And in Ghana, the commonest technology available in our universities is a phone. So instead of you projecting what is innovative pedagogy on the screen, tell them to search and tell you what is innovative pedagogy. Let them design and come and share with you what they have learned. Let them read from the tablets that they have. Let them tell you how they can design the Google form to solve all your problem of getting marks recorded. Let them show you how they can use simple Excel to help you. Let them tell you how a simple AI technology can really solve all the problems that you are doing. In fact, if you're a modern day university lecturer, if you're a modern day person in academic, and you don't integrate technology into teaching and learning, then you are behind. A typical example is what we were doing. At first, I would have traveled from Tamale to Accra. The risk is 1. Then Accra Technical University will come and pick me at the airport. Risk going to my hotel is 2. Then I'll go and sleep at the hotel. Risk of the hotel collapsing or fire is 3. Then you pick me to your facility. Risk is 4. Then after that, the cost component. Today, by the magic of technology, we are doing all this. I'm just in the comfort of my office. So this tells you what technology can do. It also means that I can even teach a whole 200, 300 class with just technology. So when we go to class, when we are in the university, the offices that we work, how do we integrate technology into the things that we do? We can only climb the ladder when we use technology very well. And this is where, Mr. Chair, I also want to emphasize and re-emphasize. Sometimes you pick, an article is sent to you to review. Let me just use that example. Then you see literature, we are in 2023. Literature, that is 2005, 2002, 2001. In fact, 1999, you see references that are 1999. No problem. That one will review and tell you your literature is outdated. You pick a lecture notes of somebody who taught you in 2000, and the same lecture notes is being used today. So there was an example of a lecturer who said that it is believed that by 2005, the world will do this, and the student drew his attention and said, we are in 2023. He said, oh, sorry, now cancel 2005 and write 2025. And the bottom line was that it's an ancestral news that the person has just been recycling and recycling and recycling. But the bottom line is that really the person didn't have a lot of sources. So here I have listed some of the sources for anybody to try. I mean, you can take a screenshot when we finish. Try. Some are familiar, some are unfamiliar. But these days, to make all this work easy for you, there are a lot of chatbot tools. AI is there. There are a lot of AI tools that will do everything for you. You can search, it will do your PowerPoint, it will do your maps, it will tell you the latest information, whatever. So I still get surprised why academics of today are not staying informed. You may decide not to even use this. And I'm surprised academics don't even listen to news. Some academics, Mr. Chair, don't listen to news. Yet we want to climb the academic ladder. Academic, you must listen to news whether you like it or not. You must watch television whether you like it or not. This is because you must read the newspaper whether you like it or not, because these are where you get up-to-date national information. In fact, most of the research topics I have written on, I got the topics from watching TV news, listening to radio news, or reading the newspapers, because you get to the core of it. And I'll just share one example with you, Mr. Chair, and those online who are listening. I have an article on the Central Medical Store fire disaster. I think it's published in Sage OP. It's just an example. It was just when the fire disaster occurred, then as somebody in disaster management, I said, so as a nation, we have sat down for all our drugs to be banned just like that. And we don't have any plan B. Let me begin to interrogate the officers who are in charge of these things. And so as somebody in academia, please check dimensions, check core, check science open, check the researcher. These are all sources of information that you can, is there. They have literature, thousands. If you can't do anything, just go to simple ChatGPT. What information do I need when I want to teach geomorphological landforms? Once it brings it, use that one to go to your search engines and begin to search. And you'll be amazed the data that you have. I have always been challenging the new geography teachers that now if you want to cite example about earthquake, whether by design or by fate, Morocco example is fresh. Turkey example is fresh. Syria-Turkey border earthquake, they are fresh. We are tired of citing earthquake examples in the 1920s, 1930s, the cricketers that were not born. So I've always been telling the new lecturers that please, if you are teaching, cite modern examples. Where will you get modern examples? All the modern examples are here. All the modern examples are where I am showing these search engines. They are there. In fact, when you go there, you get books. Books, just go to any of the search engine, no matter how popular it is. Still, PD Drive is popular, yet people don't use it. It is Z Library is there, Library Genesis, OAMG is there, Citation Z Archives is there, Core is there, Dimensions are there, plenty. I couldn't bring all of them because there are many. Please, those of us in academia, this is the only way we can be on top of the job that we are doing. This is the only way we can really climb the academic ladder. If we don't do that, we may perish. But you see, Mr. Chair, it is not just teaching and learning. If you really want to climb, and we are now getting to the middle of the stairs, so it's becoming steeper and steeper. If you really want to survive in the academic environment, you must work with feedback and you must seek improvement. How do you get your feedback and where do you get the feedback from? One is from your peers. This thing that we are doing, my peers who are online will review. After that, they will tell me what their observations were. Before I brought this presentation, I shared the link with a lot of people. I said, look, I am going to deliver this webinar on ATU campus. Don't let me go and disgrace myself before you tell me I should have done that. Critique and tell me what you want me to do. So one thing that will make you succeed in this academic environment is to pick feedback from colleagues that can help your improvement. Then feedback from students. And I've already given you some of the feedback from students. If you are teaching and all of them are at the back wanting to go, it means the feedback should tell you, Charlie, what you are telling them is not sinking. If you start there 80 and by the time you finish there 40, it's a feedback to you. Don't wait for academic quality assurance people to bring the assessment form before the students begin to assess you. Know that, Charlie, this is instant feedback from the students. Then the ones that are usually not common in the books is that self-assessment. Ask yourself, today, did I teach well? Did I deliver well? This article, did I write it well? Could I have written it better? Does this thing reflect what I wanted to say? Did I write what is in my head? This conference, was it necessary I went? This conference that I presented, did I present a very good work? Could I have done better? Please do self-assessment and get yourself feedback and know that you want improvement. Then ask yourself again, what I am doing, is it relevant? What I'm teaching, is it relevant? Mr. Chairman, I'll just give you an example. When we're teaching geography in the secondary school, one topic the students didn't like was glaciation. It's about ice. When you say glaciation, it's about ice. And the student didn't like it because how do you teach a student in Kumasi ice? This person can never see ice moving before. He will never see ice moving. And you are teaching the person glaciation. And you see, you try to conjecture and be in their mind and push in their mind what the ice features are. And I remember one that they never understood. It was called a saik. Saik is when the edges of two, two cories come together. It forms a saik. And it wasn't just relevant to them. I was happy some of these things have been revised in the syllabus. So you do self-assessment in realize that, Charlie, in Ghana, in Kumasi, you are teaching ice. In Ghana, in Kumasi, you are teaching desert landforms. So as you teach, you ask yourself, is what I'm teaching relevant? Is what I'm writing on relevant? Is what I'm delivering at Accra Technical University relevant? Is this workshop that I'm attending relevant? Is this conference that I'm going relevant? Okay, if it is relevant, let me do it more. Then you ask yourself, is this sustainable? Can I continuously do this and the energy will be there? Can I continuously teach this and people will be happy? Can I continuously write this article and people will want to read? Can I continuously attend conferences and people will be happy? So as people in academia, these are the things you need to do to get yourself feedback. If you go for conference day and the university pays for you, you go for tomorrow and they pay for you, and the following day they don't pay, it means it is not sustainable. It's just feedback to you for you to reorganize yourself. And the last one to do in terms of feedback for improvement is that what you are teaching, what you are writing, what you are doing in the university, how impactful would that be? Can it impact on your immediate environment? Can it impact on the school environment? Can it impact on the wider environment? Can it impact on Mother Ghana? Africa and the world over. So when you do these things, honestly speaking, when you do this and you do it brutally, and you do it honestly, and you do it yourself, I can tell you that if you started from level 1 today, tomorrow in academic environment, you may be at level 5. But these are other things, and I said that in the university we teach. We do community work and research. So let's look at a bit of the community work that we do. And here, Mr. Chair, I'm particular about faculty responsibilities because, and that is this point, faculty responsibilities. There are people in the university who don't want to accept any responsibility in the university. They don't want to accept any responsibility in the department because it's not coming with money. They don't want to accept any responsibility in the faculty because it's not coming with money, it's time consuming. Yet, they want to climb the academic ladder. So you see the ladder that I have put there. If you really want to climb, then you must first of all accept some faculty responsibilities. You may be the exams officer. It comes with no allowance, but the exams officer will pave way for you one day to get to the international level. There are people, oh, Charlie, help them to register the students. Oh, I don't have time. This one, you sit down and you do this work, they won't give you any money. How come one keep you working and Babu be chopping? You really need to, especially people who have just entered the academic environment. You need to sacrifice. Because one thing that I know, that in the academic environment, if you sacrifice today, you will reap it tomorrow. And so, for you to climb the academic ladder after talking extensively about teaching and learning, please don't joke with your community, because in the university, if you're applying for promotion, they look at your teaching, they look at your research, and they look at your community experience. You in the university, exams officer, you haven't done some before. Registered student, you haven't done some before. How will you even get to the point of HOD? Help us, let us mark, you won't do. Let's do that, you won't do. How will you climb the academic ladder, this ladder? How will you climb this ladder? If you are smart enough to take up responsibility at the department and at the faculty level, then you remember that you belong to the community. So let the community have impact of your work as a lecturer in the university. Can you help them at the assembly? Can you help them at the unit committee level? If the lights have gone off, how do you bring your experience to bear? If the water is not flowing, how do you get involved with the community to do it? If there's a local radio station, how do you help educate the people? In your church, at the local community, which role do you play in your church, at the community? If there's community fora, please, if you really want to climb, because these are the areas people will see you and it opens the way for you. From the community, you now move to the national level. So these days, you see lecturers of universities struggling for airspace in the media. Everybody wants to be called to comment on IMF. For the past 4 days or so, everybody wants to be called to comment on Alan. You will sit down and see, they are talking about Alan. But to somebody in academia, when he's applying for promotion, when you see the CV, he will put it there. Today is what, 28th of September 2023. I participated in a radio interview to discuss the likely impact of Alan on the political fortunes of Ghana. If you see people's CV, these things they write. And these are the things that we put together as an aggregate of community work. And so please, members in academia, my colleagues, my friends, young doctors, old doctors, young professors, old professors, people in leadership, don't let us forget that we have national duty apart from our faculty duty. For example, you are in Ghana, they are developing curriculum on geography. You are an expertise. You are an expert. You don't want to share your expertise with them. We are developing national curriculum for colleges of education. This is where you have to bring your experience to bear. If you're able to do your faculty, your community, and your national assignments very well, you move to international. And so you realize that you'll be there and you'll get a letter. Dear so and so, can you please help us participate in this international conference on this? Dear so and so, UNICEF is doing this one at ABCD. we have seen your destiny and we want you to participate. And people in academia, the day you get that letter, you just do the sign of the cross. That is the beginning of the thing that we are all searching for. I know all of us are working for money. I mean, without money, when you go home, you can't tell your wife that I went to work, I have come, no money. No, they won't agree. You can't tell your children that I didn't get money, so I didn't pay the light bill. No. But the money will come. You will climb the ladder, both academically and financially. My friend will say pocketly. You climb the academic ladder pocketly when you begin to do some of these jobs for free, sacrifices at the lower level, and it takes you to the higher level. In all this, like I said, it's about money. And so all of us in the university, you try your hands on grants. You try your hands on funding. And let me say that it is one difficult area because of the people that are already in the system. But let me just go back. The good thing is that if you are able to do all these things, from faculty to community to national, then to international, you become known. So now getting closer to grants, you gradually get there, you meet people, but it's not easy. How do you do it? Just begin to identify the funding needs. It is not everything that people want to provide funding for. But in Ghana, those of us in environment, climate change is now moving the world. Those of us who are fortunate to be teachers and environment, so we are more or less environmental teachers or geography teachers, education. So you need to identify your funding needs. Then you must look for the funding sources. The funding sources are many, but if you don't look for them, I can tell you that there are some funding sources. If your godfather or your mentor does not take you there, it is not easy. Like the UNICEFs, like the World Visions, they are big. They are well established. They have creme de la creme, consultants they work with. But like I always say, one day your professor will die, you'll be the next person. One day I will die, the person I'm mentoring will be the next person. So the matter that people, the UNICEFs and the World Banks and the IMFs are working with as consultants, those people to one day, they will not be there. It will be your turn. How will it be your turn? If you really have done a lot of research on funding sources. If you do that, you get their database. Funders have database. So once you get there, you register, or when you enter their database, the requirements are there. And some of the requirements will mean you have satisfied this. Some of the requirements will mean you have done this. Some of the requirements will mean you have done that. And so you see that it's more or less a link. What will help you is the networking. And that is why the mentorship is crucial. So if you are somebody in academia who is interested in grantsmanship, who is interested in funding, don't joke with your networking. Any person you meet, keep the person's number. So Chairman, when I finish, I'll take your number and keep. Maybe one of these days, I'll put in a grant and you happen to be the reviewer. So you don't joke with the network at all. Be nice to people, be kind to people, help people you meet in academia, whether up or low, because you might not know. There are many of the grantors the people who are there, the administrators, might be your students. Don't be surprised that you enter an office and the first person who welcomes you is your student. Say, hey, sir, what are you doing here? If you were not good to that person, if you are not taught that person very well, when you begin to tell your story, you create fake family. It's your boss there. Oh, I want to discuss something with him. But if you are bold, you have taught the person well, you haven't joked with the network, you just tell Charlie, I saw your company advertise for this consultancy. I have applied the kind of help your purview. But in all these, in grant proposals, contact experts. If you are somebody in academia who is struggling to get grants, who is struggling to get common Nokofio consultancy, even Ghana level, you are not getting. Even your local level, you are not getting. It means you haven't contacted the experts yet. If you see any call at your level, you may not get it. Don't worry that if I tell Mr. B or Dr. B or Professor B, he will steal my proposal. No. You don't entertain any fears. Just go to him. I have this thing. This is what I want to do. Even if it doesn't go well today, tomorrow it will be well. We now move on to a more substantive matter because we are climbing up the ladder. We are almost there. And this is where many of our colleagues are found wanting. People in academia who don't attend conferences. And I'm sure, like I said, if this was face-to-face, and we were to ask many of the people there, when was the last time they attended a conference? Mr. Chairman, you will see that our audience may not have attended conferences at all. These days, it is common. Even simple webinar, where you can sit in your room and just log in. And these days, webinars are just being floated now and then. People just don't attend conferences. I don't know why. New people in academia, look, even department presentation, people don't want to take part. Faculty, they don't want to take part. University level, they don't want to take part. As for national, some it is fright. But once you are bold to stand in front of 200 students and teach, why can't you present at the conference? And so after this webinar, I am going to speak to Dr. Florence Ploke, that after this webinar or after this year, Accra Technical University and possibly the Quality Assurance Unit should begin to put down names of people who attended conferences during the year, at least once. At least once. Conferences, it is the best thing in academic life. If you are writing thesis and you are struggling, just put your objectives in the form of conference papers, begin to present, and you'll be surprised the kind of input you will get. Conference is where you share knowledge and you also get knowledge from people. I have always said that if you happen to attend international conference, then you know that what you thought you know was little. If you attend proper international conference and people tell you how they did the research, then you will know that what you even think you know and you are the champion in Ghana, you don't really know anything. And you will now know that the journal you are struggling to publish in, that is the editor sitting right beside you. That is the editor sitting on your left, the editor sitting on your right. And if you are bold enough to speak to the editor, when you come, you are done. So please, all of us who want to, and I'm passionate about this because an academic who does not attend conference, some even department, like I said, departmental, how do you call this, presentations. Sometimes at the MPhil, PhD, we say, okay, if lecturers, you also have any paper that you want to share, you can share. People will not come. So no department conference, no faculty, no university level, no regional level, no national. As for international, the bobo. Please, if we do that, we cannot sell our universities. These days, you see how universities put their positions on the Times Higher rankings online, out there for people to see. It's because they are confident that they are recognized internationally. The university didn't move. It is the people in the university who attended international conferences, published international reputable journals that have put the universities where they are today. And so if we want to put our universities, we want to put our departments on the international ladder, if we want to be recognized as international scholars, please, conferences, Go for conference and network. Go for conference and get feedback. Because when you present, people will give you feedback. We all agree it is not easy to stand in front of people and present. Even all of us, with the many years of doing this over and over again, it is not easy. I'll just tell you, before we started, I said, hey, my phone, yeah. So because I'm using my phone, my hotspot. Hey. So what happens if all of a sudden there is lights out? So generator is on standby. I said, hey, so how about if you are doing this? You know, before you start, how about, all of them will come. But you need to know that it is this thing that you do that to make you who people say you are. So please, people in academia who are online, who are our students, people who are aspiring to be in academia, and people who want to climb the academic ladder, any conference that you see, make yourself available. And thankfully, almost all universities in Ghana, from technical universities to traditional Greek type university where we belong, it's a traditional Greco university, to technical universities, to all these universities have annual conferences. Please, no matter your paper, even if they say this conference is about physics, and you have a paper on business, and you think nobody is, just call the editor. Editor, I know your conference is physics, but I have this paper on business. I beg you create some business panel small for me and let me come and present. If you do that, you get the visibility, because as you present, people will be asking, where from this man? Where from this woman? Where from this girl? Where from this boy? Which institution? And you'll be climbing the ladder like that. And the good thing about the conference is that it increases your publication opportunities. Usually, it is not good to cite yourself as an example, or else we would have given plenty of examples of how conferences have helped us. And I know many of my colleagues, how conferences have helped them. Some papers they were struggling to publish. They attended conferences, they met the editors, and that was their breakthrough. So please again, if you are in academia and you want to climb, attend conference. And there are people who always attend but they won't present. There are people who are good critique. It's good. Attend the conference and criticize people. But you one day when you are going to tell yourself that today, me too, I'm going to present for somebody to criticize me. It will enrich your methodology. It will enrich your knowledge. It will enrich your research. It will do you lots and lots of good. Because with our conference, it's like which example do I? There's an example in the Bible. I'm not good in quoting Bible quotations, but they say if a lamp is, when you light the lamp and you put it under the table or something, it will not shine for. I'm sure those online will understand what I am saying. It is only at conferences that you can exhibit your skills for people to know. In fact, it's good you teach. It's good you do community work. But without this research, and how do you make your research known unless you attend conferences? Because conference is good. Now, even teach, they all go and share ideas. So if it's please, it's good for you tomorrow. The only way that we have the chance to share what we have. Mr. Chairman, climbing the ladder to the top. Now we come to almighty publications. And I think this may be my last slide or so. It's unbelievable that people will teach in the university 5 years and they have only one paper. Some 5 years, they have none. Either they read ethnic meaning, political meaning, there's a third meaning in Ghana. Now Ghana, there are three conspiracy theories. One is ethnicism. Oh, yeah, they belong to one distance. So you see, they just promoted him. That's number one. 2, oh, you don't know this man is an NDC man. Oh, you don't know he's an MPP man. So that's the second in Ghana. Or the third is he's a witchcraft. I call way before. You don't know him, man. He's this guy. He's before. So you can't be in the university and you won't publish. The truth of the matter is that you will never climb. Why do you want to? If for nothing at all, you want promotion. If for nothing at all in the university, if you won't use your publication for anything, let's assume you don't want to contribute to science. Let's assume you don't want people to validate you and your work. Let's assume you don't want academic recognition. Let's assume you don't want any funding opportunity. As for promotion, everybody likes. And so if you are in the university, you want to climb the academic ladder, whether administrator, whether teaching, wherever, please ask for publication. It's a must. In fact, I know there are many universities in Ghana that every year they have a number, I think 2 or so, or 1, and they have journals that you have to publish in. If you don't, after 5 years, they write a letter to you that they think you are not a materially devastating. And so I won't speak webinars, but I'm sure you have devoted much time to, and then we may devote much time to. Mr. Chairman, I think I have spoken at length. I'd want to thank you and bring my presentation to a close, then listen to whatever questions.
Thank you very much, Prof. Osu Sechere. In fact, if we were to be in a closed face-to-face session, I would have asked the participants to stand and give a standing ovation. But even in our seats at our various places, we say thank you very, very much. And you have done justice to the topic that we gave you. Indeed, for all of us in academia, these are the things that we should strive for. I'm particularly excited with what he has touched on. And it will go a long way to help all of us. Those who have just joined academia, please, when you get this material, every blessed day, at least pick one title or subtitle and then read through, reflect on it, because it will really do you a great job. Now, Prof, before I invite the participants to ask any question, because I'm in a privileged position, let me start with mine. Yeah. Prof, can I have multiple mentors? And won't there be any conflicts?
Multiple methods for research or for
mentors.
Mentors. Oh, multiple methods.
Yes, multiple. Yeah.
There wouldn't be any conflict if you define the parameters. For example, for example, when we all started, I had multiple mentors because you may realize that some may be good in qualitative aspect of your work. Somebody may be good at quantitative, and you wish you learn all the two. Some may be good, some may have national links. And so such a mentor, you want him to push you through at the national level. And such a mentor may not have local links. And you know somebody who is in the university who can work to vice chancellor morning, afternoon, evening. And you want such opportunity. And so it's up to you to play your cards very well. And like I said, you have to be truthful. Be plain. Don't try to play between the two.
Yeah.
Let each person know that you also go to Mr. So for a particular reason. Because you know there's also academic politics. If you don't take care, you find yourself into trouble. But if you are truthful, that I go to Mr. A because say I think Mr. A knows statistics. So I want him to teach me the statistics. Say I'm telling you because you know I also come to you for you to teach me the qualitative. If I don't tell you and you see me there, you may think, just be plain and tell me. If he says because of that, he will mentor you again, then you find your level.
Okay, Prof. Now, can I reverse it? Can I rather poach a mentee? Can I identify someone and say, I want to mentor you. I want you to be my mentee. I want to reverse it. Possible? How do I go about it?
It is not bad, but you see, it's a relationship that you are building. So it's just like you saying, I have seen a girl. So I'm going to tell the girl, I love you. It's up to the girl to agree that, okay, if you love me, I also love you back. So you may see an expert and say that, or you may see a potential student and say, this student, come, I want to mentor you. If the student doesn't want to be mentored, there is nothing you can do. And so the two spirits must be together. The student must agree that, yes, he is also ready to be mentored, or else he will create problem for you that may be worse than if you had stood at your own small corner.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. Now, participants. Prof, please, one more thing.
Okay.
At a point in this webinar, I checked number of participants, we were 70. That was the highest we reached. As we speak now, dropped to 60. Now, this is some of the challenges that we face in class. You made mention of the fact that in class, if it's a face-to-face session, when you see students are closer to the exit points, then it means that you have overstayed your welcome, and you are no more being they are no more being interested in what you are saying. Now, one other issue with this type of learning is that you can start and have about 150, 180 students, but as the lecture progresses, then it begins to drop. When you ask them, what they tell you is, oh, data issues, oh, connectivity, and things of that sort. Should that also be a yardstick that the students are no more interested in what I'm teaching?
I think this is very interesting. I also checked. I think we've even come to 58 now. So
yes, 58.
Sorry, the number keeps dropping. This webinar is technology-driven presentation. So myself at my end, I think we went off twice.
Yeah.
And so if I was part of the 60 and I went off, it would drop to 59. That was why in the examples, I was using a typical face-to-face classroom situation as an example. You know, technology we can't control. Where I am right now for about 4 or 5 days now, another network, I can't mention him here, another network has not been functioning well. And so for the purpose of this webinar, I needed to even switch to a network that will allow me. So in that case, it may not be a sign of fatigue. You know, as for technology-driven thing, it's not easy. When we're starting, we're all even struggling to, you know, get things done. But I think all you know, when I saw the numbers, I said, oh, that's okay. I don't know your maximum numbers you've been getting, but 70, it's at least if even one person listens and we want to make a change in academia, that's all that we are hoping for.
Okay, that's good. And Prof, the feedback that we are also getting from our participants is that they are very happy with this presentation. They are asking for it, and I know you will make it available. Sure. They are also happy with the practical examples that you have given us. But at this juncture, let me give them the opportunity to also throw some direct questions or maybe further clarification that they need from you.
All right.
Okay, so members, please, if you want to ask Prof any question, because of time constraints, let's be brief. Let's go straight to the point. And you can unmute yourself and then ask the question. Then after that, you have to mute again. So you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please. My name is Alasan Yaya, calling from Tamale.
Okay.
Yes, Alasan. I'm also with UDS. So good afternoon.
That's fine. Yes, Alasan, please your question or contribution.
Yes, I'm with the Faculty of Sustainable Development Studies. Please, I want to find out, Prof talked about mentorship, and some of us are new people in the getting in touch with people who can mentor you. I don't know how he can help us to, you know, get mentors who can really help you, not necessarily even in your faculty alone, but like he himself in the social sciences, somebody might not have to be in the same field with you, but can coach you or guide you as to how to go about your publications. And if I succeed in the academic world, that's the question I have for.
Right. So the question is how they can assist, or how Prof can assist to get mentors, not only even within the faculty, but it can go beyond that. Not even only within the university, it can even go beyond the university, isn't it?
Actually, that's it. That's it.
Very good. Prof, will you take this, or I should take maybe two more and then you respond?
I have seen many hands up, so you can take them.
Okay, then let me. All right. Dr. Florence Plockey, ATU, the librarian for Accra Technical University, under whose auspices that we are enjoying this webinar. Dr. Plockey.
Yes, Prof. Yes, Mr. Mama. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your wonderful presentation. And I think most of these things resonate with us, especially we in academia. One thing I've realized about mentorship is that if you really want to be mentored, you need to have a humility. If you don't humble yourself, you can't be mentored. Nowadays, we realize that most people don't want to humble themselves. And if you can't humble yourself enough, you can't enjoy the mentorship. Another thing is that, like Prof said, we all want money. And so nobody wants to do anything free. Even when you call for committee meetings, because there is no money, they won't come. Like I keep telling my staff, these are the things that you do to get experience, and then it will help you in future. Another thing is also I've realized is that you need to invest in yourself. You realize that some people will say, because I don't get sponsorship to attend meetings, workshops, so I won't go. You need to mentor yourself. If you invest in yourself, in a few years to come, you realize that you meet a lot of people, and then you start gaining, as Prof said. So thank you very much for sharing this insight with us. I'm grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Florence Plockey. Can we please hear from Damba? Damba?
Yes, Doc, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm also with UDS, and I think I've also interacted with Prof some time ago. But my issue is to link mentorship with perhaps a learning organization, especially the university. Now, at the faculty and department level, leadership. How does even leadership provide the opportunity for mentorship? Because for me, what I have observed for the few years is that it appears there is this kind of competition where mentees make attempts or proposals to have people mentor them. The excuse usually has been that I'm busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. At the end of the day, the mentee is frustrated. And as if, look, for me, I came to the university, I was able to swim out of the ocean alone. So now that you have also joined the university, the responsibility is also on you to swim out. So mentorship is actually a problem, not just for the university-wide, but even at the faculty and department levels where supposed mentors themselves are not ready to mentor. So my question to Prof is that how do we even create, from the leadership perspective, at the faculty level, where we open up so that mentees can have mentors for the growth of the faculty and the university at large? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damba. Let me take one more, then I'll go to Prof. So Sunday, you can unmute and ask your question or your contribution, please. Hello, is Sunday still online? Okay, then I'll go straight to Prof. So Prof, Al-Hassan asked a question about how you can assist to get mentors, not only even within your jurisdiction, but also beyond. Dr. Plucky's one was more of a contribution on humility if you want to be mentored, and then you investing in yourself. Damba asked a question, how you can link mentorship with the university. In other words, how leadership can create that opportunity for the mentees also to have the mentors. Okay, if you could take this for now.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me start from Damba. Damba, I hope you are doing well.
Prof, I'm fine, Prof.
We thank God. There is always an opportunity. You know, like I've always been saying, if you push and you are not getting the mentor, don't stop, keep pushing. I mean, I'm always there with you guys. Let's see how we can continuously meet and see how we can help each other. You know, for example, one of our colleagues with us in the university has established what he calls the Learning Lab. All he wants to do is that those who are interested in learning new things can join. Some have joined, some he's struggling to get them. So Damba, I'll let's see. I will be in the office most of the times. Now moving to Nyankala, that's where my office will be. And so we can always link up and see how we can help each other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are there for each other. But the bottom line is that there is the penchant for us to always think management should do something for us. Leadership should do something for us. If leadership provides the opportunity, fine. But once we have entered the system, the university is like a forest. Every tree stands alone. But when you are outside, you see it as, you know, a group kind of thing. So, Damba, don't worry. We are always available. Let's see how we can put our heads together. And if you have identified any particular lecturer and you want him to mentor you, just have the boldness, go and speak to him kindly and let him know how you share in his wealth. Let me just put it that way. How you share in his wealth in terms of research, in terms of demeanor. You know, sometimes mentee-mentor relationship goes beyond academics.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I mean, personality traits is important because the work that we work, me, for example, and the colleagues from UDS who are online knows, I stay in the office till like 8 p.m. because usually between 2 and 3, I am tired. Because I wake up early, 2 and 3, I'm tired. So the vim will come from 4 to 8. Then I will close at 8, try to get home, because I need to get up like 4 a.m. again, and the day starts. And so sometimes, if you don't get the personality trait and the body chemistry well too, the mentor-mentee relationship doesn't work well. But the bottom line is the understanding, like Dr. Plucker said, humility, and then drawing the parameters well. It will work out. So let's see how we can work it out. And then the other one, I think it was basically the same. They were all talking about
how to get the mentors.
Yes.
Okay.
But Chairman, before I go, you see, all of them should identify an area that interests them much.
Mm-hmm.
They should define their career goals and see where the goals fit into. It will help them to get mentors who also help them. These days, it's not easy because everything has become money.
Yes.
Maybe let me take this opportunity and advise the young guys on the platform now. Okay. Usually when people come, Chairman, just after taking 3 months, 4 months salary and the bank starts approaching them, people will go for loan and go and start buying cars. Then the pressure will start coming. You are servicing the loan. The car is not bringing you money. When it happens like that, you forget about your mentor. You may fight with your mentor.
You're going to chase for money.
I'm telling you.
To service your loan.
Let's take life slowly. I mean, it takes, but it works very well when you are up there. We haven't regretted anyway.
All right. Sunday, Are you back? You can unmute. Yes. Let's hear you, please. Hello, Sunday. I see you have unmuted. Can you? Okay. What about Atibasa? Atibasa, I see your hand up. Yes.
Yeah. I would like to thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Hello. It looks like we have two people speaking now. So Sunday, please hold on.
Yes. Good afternoon, Prof. Can you? Okay.
Okay. Is it Sunday?
Yeah, this is Sunday.
Okay. Right. So you now that you've gotten through, please ask your question.
Okay. Actually, Prof made mention of a literature review being considered outdated. So I wanted to know if you read a particular literature that is about 20 years old, and yet your idea is conceived within that particular paper, should that also be considered as outdated?
Okay, good question.
And then another question I want to ask is about student-teacher relationship. For instance, you've gotten to the classroom to teach. And then what normally happens in teaching is that the students should also be self-motivated to take part in the teaching before. How do you get them motivated alongside your teaching so that you wouldn't have people moving out of your class?
Okay.
Thank
Good.
you.
Right. You're welcome. Let's take Atibasa.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm in the evening. I'm speaking from Beijing. Beijing, China. So we're 11:39 in the PM in the evening. So we're in the night.
Oh, right.
But I would say must thank the organizers for this program for giving all of us the opportunity to be part of this. It's a great thing to listen to my professor. I think it has been quite some time we haven't met, but I want to talk about mentorship a bit. And he's my mentor. We have had to work together at the Department of Development Studies in UDS, and I've had to learn a lot from him. He was the first to introduce me to his lectures. He was taking comparative studies in development, and he will tell me, please prepare a topic and come and teach. Then I would do, and that was how I gained confidence, and I was able to, develop my career in teaching. So I want to also add that mentorship is this. You go to God. The Bible says that do not go to God empty-handed. Go to your mentor with something. What do you have? If you're interested in research, go there with a paper. Then the mentor can help you, get started. So do not go as young people who just go to the mentor and say, okay, I need help. To do what? So Prof talked, I think, a lot about that. He said, define your goals. And then, see, there's a bit of an issue in most of our universities. Professors are really, overloaded with a whole lot of responsibilities. So to find space, maybe the space that mentees think, they need to develop their careers within the mentorship kind of environment is a bit difficult. So professors are busy. So mentees have to really make the most of the little available time that they're able to get. And as I said earlier, that means defining your goals, going to them with something really very important. I haven't had a paper with Prof. Owusu before, but he was the first to tell me, talk about young lecturers or maybe academics using their money to buy cars and then they get into trouble. He was the first to tell me that your first accumulation, please do not just consume it, but try to save a part. And I think that has really helped me to manage my finances a bit better than some of my colleagues. So I'm really very grateful to be part of this. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Atibasa, also for staying up this late in order to join in this and then listen to Prof. We are so grateful for that.
Thank you.
So, Prof, the outdated literature, because that is also one thing that sometimes we don't understand our mentors, the professors. You write on something and then you quote maybe 1990, but you still think that is relevant to your work. And your prof says that no, that's about 20 or 30 years ago. So help us with the outdated literature. Yes. And
Chairman,
then yes, sir.
Chairman, thank you. You see, there are some citations that are monumental. So if it's a monumental, a groundbreaking, I'll just give you 2 examples. In Ghana, the first person to use the word informality to refer to trading that is not regularized is called HART. H-A-R-T. He did the work in the 1970s. So anytime you are citing him, you say that he did a groundbreaking work. But since then, others have also done. So you see, you are just trying to trace the history and you want to place the history on what has been done. So you come with the modern citations.
Okay.
If you want to, again in Ghana, Edu Boahen is our greatest historian.
Yes.
And so anytime you want to talk about history of Ghana, if you cite Edu Boahen, because it's a monumental work in Ghana, people know, but you still must go ahead. And so his citation may be at the historical aspect of it. But as you come to modern day history, you must give us modern citations. You know, people write, words are very key in writing. So whatever you want to write, the moment you write historically, Ghana has, it means you are taking us back to history. Okay. In that case, we want to see citations that dates back to or that aligns with your history. But you see people writing contemporary waste management in Ghana. The moment you see the word contemporary, you are talking about modern.
Yes.
I don't know whether you understand.
Yes.
So, see, it's about the words we use in our writings that must align with the references you cite. So if you say, oh, historically, Kwame Nkrumah this. Ghana has over the years done this, like Kwame Nkrumah. For example, in education, those of us in education, you can never write any paper on educational reforms in Ghana, and you won't cite Joe Fusana Mamensa. Because they have done the monumental educational reforms in Ghana. And so if you are writing about history of educational reforms, and listen, history, past of educational reforms, and you cite Anna Mamensa, you are not wrong. But as the writing goes on and you are getting into modern times, we want to see so many modern things of.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Prof. What we need. Yes. And then what do you also say to your friend in China, faraway China? And
yes. I didn't even know he has traveled to China. I didn't know, but those are guys we all were in one department, you know, trying to put the department together, and we shared a lot. We really shared. Like I was always telling them that if you want fish, you need to use your best bread to bait the fish. That's why Jesus said that cast thy bread upon the waters. This one I've gotten it right. Yes. So once you cast your bread upon your waters, you get the best fish that you want. So I was always telling them that, look, it's good. It's exciting to be a young lecturer. I mean, we have all been there. At the end of the month, you get your salary, Charlie. It's enjoyable. But if you really want to move, you must know that this is not the time to enjoy, because as you move ahead, I mean, there is chilling up there than lower there. But it's not easy. Actually, it's not easy. Sometimes if you've gone hungry and all of a sudden, Charlie, the job has come. Anyway.
Yeah. Talking about quotes, our friend Michael has given us Matthew 5:15. That's what we wanted to quote earlier.
Okay.
That neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have done almost 2 hours, and I would like to draw the curtains down here. But before I do so, let's take Prof's final words, and then if my chairperson is still around, I'll let him say a few words and I'll wrap it up. So, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Oh, hello, Prof.
Okay,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah. Mr. Mama, sorry. Can I ask one question?
Okay, Doc.
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. I am a person of endogenous development, and endogenous development means revitalizing our local traditions. We are always talking about publishing in high impact factor journals, but we also realize that we are shunning our local journals. But I'm happy you talked about our local journal, and I want to know your take. If you can briefly explain this, our local journals vis-a-vis the journals that has been indexed in Scopus and other high impact factor journals.
Thank you very much. I think my take is simple. Every journal is good if it's properly indexed. You see, it's not about the name or the location, but it's about the indexing. So, for example, as you have traveled, you would want people to read your work. As I travel, I want people to read my work. And there is internationally acceptable standards. And so if you take the Society of South African Geographers, our journal, it's published by Francis and Taylor. And so once I publish in that journal, I know it's on Francis and Taylor platform. I know there are a lot of journals in Ghana. They are now trying. Now, most of them are on Agile. Once you are on African Journals Online, it's an Agile index journal. We are happy. We are happy to place our works there because Agile is also competitive within the African region. And you know that usually, even if the journal is at Agile, the hope of the journal is that one day it becomes a Scopus index. So you ask yourself, why will, for example, ATTU have a journal? Now, ATTU journal has become an Agile. Then ATTU journal has become Scopus. It means ATTU recognizes the fact that to be up there, you must be indexed by Scopus. I hope you understand, madam. If being up there means Agile, that is fine. If being up there means that even no Agile, that is fine. But the journal itself has recognized the fact that to be up there, it must be indexed in Scopus. So if that is the case, then we, the publishers, why do we now have to go for a journal that is struggling to get Agile when I can even get the paper in a Scopus index journal? I hope you understand. For me, now Ghanaian journals are doing well. I have tried to publish across almost all institutional journals in Ghana. I have Ghana Journal of Geography, I have UDS Development, I have as much as I can remember, Social Science, Legon, etc. But the bottom line is that just as we are advising, we too need to do our best. Madam, you agree with me that sometimes the local journals, you submit a paper, even they won't acknowledge receipts. If you don't know the editor and call him or her, your paper will be there. You wouldn't know the status of your paper. Some of the local journals, 1 year, you are not hearing anything. So unfortunately, I'm going to say this, but some of the local journals are the journal to become senior lecturers and associate professors, and they abandon the journal. Papers will come, and for 4 or 5 years, authors have not heard anything. So maybe we have to put our house in order, have a submission system that is just comparable to any Agile index or any Scopus index journal. You submit through the system, it goes through the review, you can track your article any moment that you want, and you know the progress. We also need to do this at home. But I don't think anybody is discouraging local content. Only that as you play local Black Stars, we need to also play with the professionals. Don't you see that?
Yes.
Even Black Stars, we play professionals.
We do. Okay, Prof, before you give us your parting words, our friend Sharifatu Abdullahi says she's an MPhil student of agric education, and then she wants to join higher education. How can she get there? And then you can also add your final words.
So madam, first of all, finish your certificate, finish your MPhil and get your certificate.
Exactly.
And then every day new things come. Maybe by the time you finish, new universities would have come. Some would have gone on retirement, etc., etc. So you finish. It's when you have the certificate that you can begin to bargain. Now, on this note, let me take this opportunity and thank Accra Technical University very much. Let me thank the organizers for giving me this platform for us to share knowledge. But for them, this knowledge that I have would have just been left on my laptop. So on this note, I want to thank you. And I pray that you invite many more people to your webinar series. There's a lot of information out there. I will only pray for you that you continue to have the strength to continue with this engagement so that together we can shape the world of academia. Once again, I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Very grateful and thankful to Professor Owusu Sechere. Now, my chairman for this webinar session today was Dr. Sani Bashiru. He is the Dean, Faculty of Business, Accra Technical University, and a former head of Department of Marketing. Dr. Bashiru, your people want to hear your voice before we wrap up.
Okay, thank you, Dean of Students, Mr. Mama. And thanks, Prof, for the presentation to a local and international audience. I admire the participation of our colleagues in UDS and whoever stood awake and in faraway China. It has enriched the whole program. I'm also grateful to our librarian, Dr. Plucky. I admire her organizational abilities. Prof, you've done so well. I'm short of words. And I only hope that we, those who listen to you, will try as far as possible to implement what you have said. It's one thing listening and another one taking a step. My advice to myself and all of those who have listened is that let's just take one thing, not just all. All becomes a bit radical. Let's just be incremental in our approach to adopting new issues we have learned. Let's just take a small part we have learned and see if we can implement. Now, if we are able to implement, then we begin to add others. There's one issue I've also noticed in academia. The issue of mentorship. It's becoming clear that we can now have a very young, new faculty who appears to understand that person has been hungry all along to join academia and seem to understand effective teaching, networking, community service. And by the time he or she comes, he's already publishing in high index journals. So will it be bad to now say that I'm an old faculty? I've seen a new person far younger than me, but he seems to have all the competencies. Then in that case, I don't know what I would say he should mentor me, but maybe I should partner him. You see, so Prof, probably the trends are changing, especially with those in the technical university. Look, the culture of publishing, we are now beginning to internalize it. And that's why we are very grateful to organizers like our able librarian. You see, these are the issues we are able to participate that galvanizes us into action. Those days, much as we knew there was the need to publish, but the culture was not built. Now the culture is emerging. We are trying. And so we are even staying more visible by publishing in high impact journals. We are getting the professors. as against UDS, long-established UCC, KNUST, etc. So what we get is a motivation. So I like the way you brought new insights into the way we should do things. Next time when you get to the publication, if you could stay a bit longer there, it will help us a lot. And so maybe that's the gap I've identified. And I do think that our organizers should take it up. I'm at the faculty of business, and I admire the work you have done. So I'll liaise with Dr. Ploke and see whether we can get you to do a webinar for us during the first semester. So I'm sure after this, I will soon see her. But you've done so well, and I like your humor. You know, the devil is a liar. You know, I just love that one. It tells us that in presentation, I mean, just add humor. We cannot be that serious. And see, Prof was just Ghanaian, the Charlie, you know, adding informality to a formal presentation. You see, calming our nerves, making us follow. Yeah. You know, I thought I was going to be on this program and be doing other things. I was charmed to a point where I couldn't do anything. I had to say, wow, that's fantastic. So we are all happy. We are all glad. The sweetness of the pudding lies in the eating. If we are happy about this, let's try to see how we implement it, how we can at least upscale our ability to publish. Earlier, he said, let's also be part of the university committee. I was denied my first promotion application because I had no community service. Of course, and Prof, please, let's look at this. There are times also complain that we are not given the opportunity. Yes, there are some, you give them the opportunity, they will not. They will say there's no allowance, there's nothing in it. But there are some people who are in the sidelines waiting. They also complain that people have hijacked the system. So my recommendation is that let's look around and make sure that new members, new faculty are baited enough to come and take community works that are not even paying. Let's tell them, let's inform them, let's educate them, let's conscientize them, let's incentivize them on the need that, look, you might sacrifice today for a grand reward tomorrow. So that is a question we may need to balance. But all in all, the fashion and the passion you have shown, I mean, this is great stuff. And so we've not seen the last of you. Probably this is the beginning. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
My chairman has said it all. Need I add more? Not at all. All I'll say is that Prof. Osu Sechere, personally, I have found for myself another mentor. As you have even endorsed multiple mentors, I've added you to my list. And please take note also that Accra Technical University will keep knocking on your door. And we know that you will still find some space in there for us. We are so grateful to you, very, very happy, and also to Dr. Ploke and the organizers, Selikem and the rest, to be able to have Prof for this session. We are only looking forward to receive the files that will be shared, and then we will also make good use of it. Prof, once again, we say a big thank you.
Thank
you. Members, participants, we've come to the end of the 13th session. Please watch out for the 14th session, which will also, I know, will be as interesting as what we have just had. Grateful to all of you who stayed up to this time, and God bless us all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, that's fine. Good.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
Oh, yes. I love it. We should have more of such.
More of this.
It's good. It's good. Florence, wherever you are, well done. Selikem and Obed and all your team. Wonderful job done. Yes. Shani, we also thank you so much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's always a delight working with you.
I always look forward to also be learning a lot from you.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all too.
So,
Bye.
bye.
Robert, see ya.
All right, Doc. Bye.